Welcome along to this joint interview for Property Tribes and HomeAway.co.uk, and we're going to be talking Olympic lets with Guy Sansom. Welcome, Guy.
Thank you.
Now, you are the first person I've met that's actually achieved an Olympic let, and
That's good to know.
Very interesting to talk to you. So first of all, tell us a little bit about your property.
I have a very small two-bedroom apartment in Pimlico. It's in what they call the Pimlico grid. It's very close to Victoria Station, and you can basically walk to anywhere in London from there.
So fantastic location.
Yeah, it makes a perfect spot to explore London from.
Now, how did you go about achieving an Olympic let then?
Basically, I joined HomeAway.co.uk 6 months ago, and with the view to increasing the lets for my property. And just before Christmas, I think it was, I decided how I wanted to approach the Olympics and whether I wanted to use it for myself during that period or actually make it available for rent. And then again, what I was prepared to charge for it.
Now, did you put up your rates?
Yes, I did. I hope I haven't put anybody off, but I know I haven't put anybody off, but we didn't put it up horrendously. We loaded it by 70%. Right. And we felt that reflected the demand without leaving hopefully a bad taste in anyone's mouth for paying what might be slightly higher rates than usual.
Absolutely, because of course you don't want to alienate your existing clientele by really overloading it.
And the other thing I didn't want to do is have anybody leaving with a bad taste. At the end of the day, I don't want them sort of walking off with my towels because they don't feel they've got value for money from staying in my apartment.
Absolutely. Now, how many weeks have you actually achieved an Olympic rate?
Basically, I set two bands, one for the Olympic period, being that 18-day period, and then another for the Paralympics. And I think the Olympics, I say, was a 70% load on our usual rates, and I think the Paralympics was something like a 40%. And we're booked up through both periods.
Brilliant. It's so good to hear this because there's so much sort of mystery around Olympic lets, and we're hearing these outrageous figures. So to hear that somebody's actually achieved one is fantastic.
Well, my biggest problem really was actually working out who I was going to actually make my arrangements with. I had probably between 35 and 50 inquiries for the same 10-day period, being the main Olympic period. And my biggest difficulty was working out how I was going to manage and who I was actually going to respond to appropriately.
And how did you do that?
Do you know, I have no idea in the end. It really worked out on who responded the quickest to me saying, it's available, would you like it now, and here are the terms. And if they responded appropriately, then we followed on. If they didn't respond within really a couple of days, then I moved on to the next.
Yeah, you snooze, you lose.
Exactly.
So Guy, I'd be interested to know what nationalities you've had renting your apartment over the Olympics.
I think, if I remember rightly, I've got somebody from Australia, somebody from Spain, somebody from New Zealand, and somebody from Romania.
So it really is a worldwide marketplace, isn't it? Because that covers the whole gamut there. Now, why did you choose to go to HomeAway.co.uk, and what sort of results have you had since joining 6 months ago? Well,
as I say, I joined 6 months ago at a time when I wanted to perhaps take my holiday letting a bit more seriously. Prior to that, I'd been using an exchange medium as a way of getting people interested in my flat. But HomeAway has actually increased it dramatically, and in the 6 months I've been a member, I've had 215 inquiries looking to rent out my apartment.
And what would you say to any other landlord that's considering an Olympic let? What sort of advice would you give them?
I suppose be realistic. Choose a rental you're comfortable with, and be willing to accept that rather than hanging out for the highest possible dollar. Because I think if you wait that long, people are going to find somebody else to find some other way to deal with it.
And I think that's very good advice. Well, thank you very much for talking to us, Guy, and thank you for watching this Property Tribes and HomeAway.co.uk Olympics lettings interview.